This episode is brought to you by Starry. When you drink Starry Lemon Lime Soda, every sip is a win. Perfect for game time or anytime. It's a crisp, refreshing lemon lime soda that's caffeine-free and bursting with flavor that makes you go, ah. Starry hits different. Find it in stores or online today.
1, 2, 3, 4. Those are numbers. But you already knew that. If you want to know what number you're going to pay each month for your car, use Kelly Blue Book My Wallet on Auto Trader. They're really good at numbers. Auto Trader.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
And hello and welcome to Unequal Sequel. My name is Dave and I'm one of the two hosts of this radical podcast.
All right, Michelangelo. And I am Rich and I'm the other host of this radical podcast, dudes. Think of me as Mr. Miyagi to Dave's Daniel's son. I am the wise old mentor and he is the young Padawan. He's not a Padawan. That's Star Wars. I'm crossing my movies, but hey, you get the drift,
point.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm struggling with these, Dave. Now, scraping the barrel, mate.
I think they're brilliant. The premise of Unequal Sequel is very simple. We asked our guests for their best ever sequel, worst ever sequel, and finally their dream sequel.
And of course, we quite often drift off and talk about other things, including movies. Sometimes just life.
I should point out that we do delve into spoilers of the movies that were mentioned. So if you haven't seen one or two of the movies, just skip that part and move along. I've also got to mention that for the first time ever, I think in a technical term, we had a fucking nightmare with the sound.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I just had to record it not from my mic. It's fine. So please just be patient with us there. Emily's brilliant. Rich is brilliant. I am also there. On today's episode, we are joined by Emily Murray.
Emily is a brilliant film journalist and critic who is also the editor of Zavvi magazine.
We're very excited to sit down with Emily and chat all things sequels with her.
These are Emily Murray's Unequal Sequels. Enjoy!
Emily, do you remember the first sequel you got excited about?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
What was it?
Harry Potter.
Really?
Because Philosopher's Stone's like my first like cinema memory of like going to see a film in a cinema. And then my aunt worked for Warner Brothers in like the marketing. So we went to the premiere of Chamber of Secrets. Like kiddie. Because I was like, what year would the Chamber of Secrets been? I think I would have been like...
I want to say 2002.
Yeah, I would have been like 8 or 10. And I remember going to like the kids' premiere of Chamber of Secrets. So I was excited for the sequel, but also excited because that was a fancy event.
Did you dress up for it in costume?
I can't remember. I just remember having to like go to London for it and getting like little goodie bags, like themed goodie bags after Chamber of Secrets.
Amazing.
What was in the goodie bags?
I can't remember. I have the worst memory known to man. I just remember like being excited for it.
Wow. So, and did it live up to your expectations?
Oh yeah, I love Harry Potter. So, although now it's like,
yeah, because the second one's the worst one, right?
No, I like Chamber of Secrets. It's really good.
Really? What do you like about it?
All of it.
Oh my god.
But I was like a proper like Potter nuthead growing up, so I feel like that's like my childhood bias coming in.
Yeah.
So you don't skip the first two now when you rewatch them?
No, also I'm a completionist, so if I like skipped any of it, it wouldn't feel right as well. But no, I like Chamber of Secrets. It's I like the whole Tom Riddle and Basilisk, and it's all.
I would have said the second one's the worst one too, but I have seen Philosopher's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets more than the others because
when you rewatch them, you got to go from the start.
Well, yeah, and also I've got a 6-year-old, and he's not quite. We think like maybe the later ones are a bit scary,
Yeah.
but he loves Harry Potter. So we've watched the first few a lot.
Yeah. Well, I have this thing where, like, I think when a new Harry Potter book came out, you have to reread them right from the start again. So obviously you reread the first one more and more. It's the same in the movies. I'd argue that Deathly Hallows Part 1 is the worst of the lot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
It's just a bit.
Wow.
I really like it, but it's just like there's just a lot of camping and wandering around and.
Dave loves Lord of the Rings. That's basically what he likes.
Yeah, I'm not a big. Lord of the Rings is fine. So.
But that's a lot of camping and walking around, isn't it?
Oh my God, she just described Lord of the Rings as fine.
Okay, so I watched Lord of the Rings as a kid, hated it. And my whole family like sat down and we all watched. We all were at home with like the flu. So we were like, my dad's like, right, we're doing it. We're going to watch the 3 extended cuts of Lord of the Rings in like one weekend. And none of us enjoyed it. I don't know if that's because we all had the flu as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not the optimal, circumstances to watch Lord of the Rings in. Or if it's just like, yeah. So I rewatched them this year, which I think it's the first time I've seen them since I was a kid. I watched them. It was like a virtual watch party with my friends. We had like Lord of the Rings themed snacks and stuff, and I enjoyed them. I don't really think they're for me. Like, they're good, and there's some bits I really liked, but like, yeah, it's just a lot of walking really, and there's better things I can do with my time and watching some. I think it's like, yeah, hobbits and stuff, walk around. I don't know. I found it hard to get into the mythology and lore of Tolkien's world. But I'm also biased against J.R.R. Tolkien for no reasons of his own. In that, when I was a kid, I loved doing school plays. I was always like one of the leads because I was like a little diva, basically. And then in The Hobbit, I didn't get cast as a lead, and I was furious. I was like a human 6-year-old, and ever since then, I've been biased against J.R.R. Tolkien, and I can't let it go. So
Brilliant.
What were you in the play in the end? If you weren't a Hobbit?
Oh, I quit. So I got. I got given a role for
Hobbit or nothing.
Yeah, basically. I think I got cast as a spider, and I was like, I'm not having this. So they went my acting career. So
okay, I've got so many questions for you. One, I want to know about what Lord of the Rings food snacks you had.
Okay.
What you would say.
Potatoes.
And 2, I want to know the production budget of a school Lord of the Rings play, because I can't get my head around that.
The production budget, I think, was low, very, very low. And
they tried to squeeze all 3 films in for like an hour and a half.
Well, it was primary school as well. So why the hell is a primary school doing The Hobbit as a school play? Like, I don't understand the concept. And then the theme snacks. I remember we had like Hobbiton like afternoon tea for the Shire scenes in the first film, and then potatoes obviously featured massively.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what else we had, but I remember my friend Clarice, like, she made like really like screen accurate like food, and I was like, I can't live up to that. I'll just have like Hobbiton sandwiches and potatoes.
Brilliant.
Oh, amazing.
As I say, I must say that watching it with friends did help the experience. And I do think if I hadn't seen Lord of the Rings with friends, I probably still wouldn't be a fan. I'm not really a fan. Like, I think I get why people really like them. They're just not like, they're not for me.
If you had to rank them, how would you rank them?
I don't know. I think, actually, Return, Two Towers, Fellowship, because I did find the more I got into the series, the more I kind of like connected with the characters. So by the third one, I was kind of invested. So I think that's why it's like, Also, the I Am No Man is like my favorite moment. Obviously, that was a good moment, and I like Gandalf. He's a cool dude. I didn't like Frodo and Samwise. The hobbits weren't really my friends.
After that, because you weren't allowed to speak one. So obviously,
no, exactly.
The Hobbits.
Forever, but I haven't actually watched the Hobbit movies. I don't think I should because if I didn't get on with Lord of the Rings, and I've heard they're quite bad. So
yeah, I don't think if you don't like Lord of the Rings, I don't think you're going to get a lot out of them.
No.
And you haven't read the book. Have you read the book, The Hobbit? Which is waffer thin.
I tried, and I was like, nah, it's just not.
Oh my God.
I do like fantasy stuff. It's just I don't know. It just wasn't really for me, which is a shame. But I enjoyed. They were all right. They were all right.
I think the problem, like you say with The Hobbit, is that they tried to make 3 very long films from quite a short book.
Yeah,
whereas Lord of the Rings is 3 long books. They make sense.
There's like a scene. I went to like Empire used to do like film festivals in London. It was like Empire Big Screen was what it was called. I used to go as a teenager, and they had a preview of The Hobbit, and it was like a dinner scene from the first film. It just went on for so long, and me and my dad were like, "This is like a preview of a film they're showing to try and get us to watch this movie." Like, no.
Yeah, it does go on for a bit.
It goes on for like.
Man. I've just had the image that you never saw the Lord of the Rings musical they had on the West End. Did you by any chance?
No.
Because that is the most batshit crazy thing I've ever watched. And I woke up the other few weeks ago thinking there's a memory that I had, like a bad nightmare. I was like, did I make this up? I had to like research it on the internet, and it was real. I did go and see it for my birthday. I had like a singing golem and stuff. It was absolutely mental.
I'll tell you what I would watch, because I saw an article, I think it was from Vulture, I can't remember what article, what website it was, which was about Muppets Lord of the Rings. Like, and they perfectly cast the Muppets Lord of the Rings. And I was like, right, that might get me into Lord of the Rings if that ever happens. The way to my heart is Kermit the Frog. So
I like that.
That's genius.
Yeah, that would work.
It needs to happen, because it just works so well. Obviously, Kermit would be a great Frodo.
Yeah. Who I would like. My favourite is Gonzo. Where would you put Gonzo?
I don't know.
What was he cast? Aragorn.
I don't know. Gonzo maybe has like the wisdom of a Gandalf. He's got like
that'd be fun. He's the storyteller, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's always the narrator of the pieces.
And you got to have Fozzie as Samwise.
Yeah, that works.
Well, this is what I'm going to be thinking for the rest of the day now.
Casting Muppets.
What would Miss Piggy be? Like Saruman? Is that evil?
Yeah. I'm trying to think who Gandalf would be. Oh wait, we said Gonzo for Gandalf, didn't we?
Yeah.
I can't even name most Lord of the Rings characters. It's just, Aragorn's a Lord of the Rings person, isn't he?
Yeah. Gimli.
Gimli would be
Legolas.
Gimli would be the big Muppet. Whatever. Can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either. The scary one.
Yeah.
I thought Miss Piggy would be a good Gimli.
Oh yeah.
Beaker. I remember Beaker. Ralph. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the actual ones.
You'd have the Fellowship would have to be like all the major Muppets.
Yeah, but then we have to be some human characters as well. That's one of the Christmas carols or sensitive.
So would you have Frodo? Would you have Frodo as a human?
No, I think I'd have Frodo as a Muppet.
Kermit would be
like you said, the Hobbits. I think would have Muppets. Then maybe Aragorn you might have as a human.
Yeah, I'd actually keep. Who's the guy who plays Aragorn? Honestly, my Lord of the Rings knowledge.
Viggo Mortensen.
I'd keep him as like.
He was great
because he was good as Aragorn, and he's also like the sort of perfect, serious, and fun enough to like be in a film with Muppets, like Michael Caine.
Yeah.
You've got to be. I feel like we've gone off point a little bit, but I have very much enjoyed it. I still can't get over that you did a school play of Lord of the Rings in primary school.
No, I didn't, because I quit. The school still went ahead.
Even for a teacher to have that idea, they must have watched the films and thought, I know what we can do here.
The Hobbit.
Oh man, that is batshit. I would pay money to see that actually.
They might still be doing it every year.
Like you're normally like, and what are you in the play? And you're like, I'm an angel. And you're like,
no,
I'm an elf.
They did the Hobbit.
Incredible. Right. Amazing. Thank you. Let's go on to the important questions, even though my head's going to be going Muppets. What was your pick for your best sequel ever?
Oh, I'm like super biased and super on brand with my best sequel invite. It's The Dark Knight, because I love Christopher Nolan, which anyone who knows me knows. It's my favorite film ever. And I do think it's the best sequel, because when I think of like what a sequel should do, expand on the foundations that the prior film built, but also still obviously feel like it's set in the same world. And I think The Dark Knight's like the perfect example of that. And it's also the best film ever. So
a lot of people agree with you. We've had a few guests that have chosen The Dark Knight. Yeah, so there's a lot of people agree with you there. It's a very popular choice for best sequel.
It is a popular choice. Well, I was like, do I pick something a bit like off kilter that is a bit different? But I was like, no, because it's my favorite film and it's the sequel.
Yeah.
So
So what makes it your favorite film? What is it that you
it's the first film. It's the first film I saw that I remember loving.
Okay.
So like,
really?
So as a child, I was basically a wimp and hated the cinema. because I didn't like the loud noises. I didn't like the darkness. I didn't like the smell of popcorn. So I just never went. I remember like there's like a bookshop. I think it's called Ottica's Bookshop. There's a bookshop in a cinema next door. So I go to the bookshop with my mum, and my dad would take my sister. My dad's quite into films. My sister to the cinema. I just never liked it. I liked watching films at home, but I didn't like going like really to the cinema. Except for the odd thing like Harry Potter. That's because I was really invested in the books. And I remember like I was watching News Round, which was like a cracking kids TV show. Yeah. And they had a report about Heath Ledger dying. And I remember they showed like a clip of him, obviously I think it was a clip of a picture of him as a Joker. And I was like, what's that? That looks interesting. And my dad was like, oh, it's like Batman. I was like, what's Batman? And I was like 13, just absolutely clueless. Like, what's Batman? And so I looked into like Batman and stuff like that. And I was like, this sounds really interesting because it does. Like, he's cool, right? So and then my dad was like, you should watch Batman Begins. So he showed me Batman Begins, which was obviously like unreal. And then so I was like, right, I want to go see that film, the sequel. And my dad was like, you sure? Because you don't really like the cinema. And I was like, yeah, no, I want it. Like, I think it looks interesting. And I like Batman, and this Joker guy seems interesting. So we went for my birthday. I remember like sitting there and like shaking because it was just like an unreal experience. And we came out, and I literally just couldn't speak because I was just absolutely stunned. My dad was like, I want to go see that again now. My mum and my sister were like, oh, it wasn't very good, was it? Because they have no taste in films. They're the worst people alive. They're not the worst people alive. They're great, but like they don't like the Dark Knight, so they're clearly broken. And yeah, and then I think that was it. I mean, I was like, right, who's this like guy who made these movies because he seems cool? So I found out about Christopher Nolan. My dad showed me Memento and his like previous films. I mean, I was like, cool. And I just started like, because I had a lot of cinema to catch up on, because obviously I was 13 and hadn't really watched films. And then just started watching all these films. And then I set up like my blog. I had like a film blog as a teenager. I remember one of the first reviews I did. I think the first review was a Harry Potter film. But I think I set it up because I wanted to review The Dark Knight Rises when that came out.
Right.
So yeah, so I feel like I owe a lot to The Dark Knight personally. So I probably wouldn't be here talking to you guys if I hadn't seen The Dark Knight at 13. So I guess this is why I had to pick it, because it you know.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of this podcast, is we get to talk about what films mean to people, and they always mean different things to different people. So yeah, that is brilliant. I'm really glad you picked it and didn't pick something else off kilter. I think that's a brilliant choice.
I was like, also like, I do run a Christopher Nolan podcast, and then I do love him. So I was like, it's quite on brand, because we could like, obviously, like, I think it's pretty obvious why Dark Knight is a great film, but I think in the way it means like different things to different people and what it represents. Like, and that's what it represents to me, is I suppose my first love of cinema, and what a film as well to like trigger it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We quite often talk about cinematic awakenings for people. It quite often comes up. And it's so good that yours is actually a sequel that, you know, your favourite film and stuff. So the build up to it, because we quite often, when we talk about Dark Knight, we talk about the build up and how people were really buying into it. So you weren't really into any of that. You just got showed Batman Begins and then straight into Dark Knight. Yeah. I knew a bit about Joker and Batman because obviously I saw the news report. And I think I had seen 10 Things I Hate About You. So that's why I sort of knew Heath Ledger in my mind. But yeah, because it was really interesting because I didn't have any sort of build up, because on my Nolan podcast, we had Dan Jolin from Empire on a Dark Knight episode. Dan, lovely guy, he's great. And he's the one who like wrote like the cover story about like Heath Ledger as a Joker for Empire, and about how like he was keeping these diaries, you know, all those like infamous stories. And he was saying that when Heath Ledger was cast, there was a massive backlash against it, which is so bizarre to me, because like I wasn't really like, I don't know, like into film at the time. Like I like, to me that's so bizarre, because obviously I've seen it, it's one of the greatest all-time performances. So having seen a film now, like why was there such like that's like a weird thing to think about, because obviously I had no context, so I wasn't like aware of it at the time, but I think that's fascinating that there was such a backlash against him.
I think it's because he was kind of a rom-com-y kind of guy, wasn't he? Really, he wasn't kind of, he's a very different kind of actor, and I don't think people thought he had necessarily the skill to pull it off. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think people thought he was too pretty.
Yeah, there's that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Joker ain't pretty.
No.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't remember any build up because like I literally just, it was like such a last minute thing. Watch Batman Begins, watch. But I do remember build up to Dark Knight Rises because I had the best time ever at the Dark Knight Rises screening. Because it wasn't like such a thing as like midnight screenings when it came out. So me and my dad, we lived in Derby in like the Midlands at the time. We trekked to like the 6 a.m. screening, which was like the first IMAX screening in Manchester, the Printworks. And like everyone was in like outfit. I think I had like a Batgirl shirt on. And then they had like a countdown and did like a Batman quiz. They always like this IMAX audience like taking part in this, like, I don't know, because everyone's just there for like the Dark Knight Rises. So that was a good build up. But obviously it's not the best sequel.
I'd say, what do you think of that sequel?
5 stars. It's incredible, but
Okay.
apparently that's a controversial view now. But I love the Dark Knight Rises. I think it's cracking. But Nolan doesn't make films that aren't 5 stars. And I know I'm biased, but
So yeah, I know, Dave, you don't like the Dark Knight Rises very much, do you? But I'm all right. I think it's okay.
I would call it disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's
I
all
really
right.
like it.
What scenes do you like about the Dark? Sorry.
All the Dark Knight. There's not a favorite scene or anything. I like all of the Dark Knight.
Did you see it in the IMAX?
No, I think I went to a Showcase Cinema Deluxe. I don't know if they still exist, but it's like a Showcase Cinema, but deluxe, whatever that means. It's like, I think it was like, I still have my ticket. It was like a £5 like ticket, which is crazy because people like that ticket price doesn't exist anymore. I couldn't pick a favorite scene. Although one of my favorites is the magic trick. But that's because my sister was like, I'm gonna throw up, and I like just bringing it up with her because we want to upset my sister. Mentioned the magic trick scene. She didn't do very well with like gore or stuff like that.
Is she older or younger than you?
Younger, and I just enjoy torturing her with that. So I do like the snooker cue scene. I think that's quite underrated. You know, where he's like tryouts, but it's only one spot and he breaks the snooker cue in half. I think that's, I don't know, an underrated moment perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely a good scene. Definitely sort of sets the Joker-y tone, doesn't it? That's where he tells his first kind of fake backstory, isn't it? When he does just after he breaks the snooker cue. Is that right?
Yeah.
Have I got that?
It's around, it's around the pencil scene as well.
Yeah.
The whole introduction of this of the Joker. What did you think of Christian Bale as Batman? Obviously, oh my god! So at that point, you hadn't seen any of the other Batmans. You hadn't seen Keaton.
I hadn't seen Keaton. I haven't still seen Clooney, and I'm a big Batman fan. I've yet to see George Clooney's Batman. And I love George Clooney. Like he's a lovely chap. I don't know. I think I want to like see it in a cinema because I have a feeling the movie's meant to be bonkers, right? It's meant to be like weird. I think watching it in a cinema with like an audience who are like dead into it, I think would be like a really good first time experience of watching Batman Forever.
It's incredible in its awfulness, Batman Forever. It is.
Be really drunk. Yeah. Just go and get absolutely plastered would be the best way I would like to go and see.
From the very first second of the movie, it's insane. Like, it's like,
not exactly the Dark Knight. Christian Bale is my favorite Batman. I do really like Keaton. He's fantastic. So obviously, I since went back and watched the Tim Burton.
Yeah.
But also, again, it's like, is Christian Bale he's my Batman because he was like my first Batman. I think that plays a lot into these like conversations of like, who's your favorite Spider-Man, who's your favorite Batman. It just depends upon who your like first was. Yeah. And for me, it was Christian Bale.
How are you excited about the Batman, the Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, because I'm a twihard. I fucking love Twilight. It's Dave's just like.
Dave's got his head in his hands right now.
I feel like the first shot against Dave was Lord of the Rings, and now it's Twilight. But I was like 11.
There's some hot takes on this one.
I was like 11 when Twilight came out, right? So I was like Stephanie Meyer's prime target, like ready. I was like I loved books, I loved literature, I loved romance and stuff like that. So of course I was gonna like Twilight. So it's like my dream come true. It's like Edward Cullen as Batman. I'm very excited.
It does.
Although I must admit I'm concerned because I'm like, what if it's better than The Dark Knight? It won't be, but what if it is? I don't think I don't think I could live with trauma for the rest of my life.
I don't think it can be, can it?
No.
It won't. I mean, it looks good though. Like it looks really good. And Paul Dano, my main concern about the film, except for the what if it's better, is that they're doing too many villains. Because it's like there's Riddler, Penguin. Obviously, Barry Keoghan's in it as Jim Gordon's assistant. So he's not Jim Gordon's assistant. He's going to be someone else. And the rumor is that he'll be the Joker. So I'm like, I don't know if you're doing like too many villains.
Yeah.
That does come. That is a problem in a lot of other superhero films when they try and smash in a lot of well, let's say Spider-Man 3, the original Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, and Spider-Man No Way Home. See what that's like. That's got like a lot of villains.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that one. Yeah,
we'll be watching that like next week. Have you seen it already, Emily?
Emily's seen it tomorrow.
Oh, you've seen it tomorrow. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I was meant to see it, and then Sony were like, the film's not ready, so I saw 40 minutes of it. So I've seen 40 minutes at this time. So
because I saw you.
Don't tell me anything.
You've been chatting to Tom Holland. I saw you posted up. You've been talking to Tom Holland.
Yeah. I was very lucky to interview Tom Holland and Zendaya. Unfortunately, not at the same time, so I couldn't be the third wheel because I think that would have been fun. But
that would be fun.
They were both lovely. Like, I really like when you talk to movie stars who feel like normal people. But I suppose they're like our age and they're just like, I don't know, still take. It seems like they're still quite grounded, which is good. I like that.
Yeah. What would happen if you got to talk to Christopher Nolan? How would you?
I don't think I'd be loud.
Handle yourself.
I don't know what would happen. I would love to one day. I think last year I got invited. I didn't get to do an interview, but I got invited to the press screening of Tenet, which was my first like Nolan press screening. I was so excited. And Tenet's also
5 stars.
5 stars, yes, of course.
Okay.
But he's not made a film that's not a 5-star film. Some of his shorts maybe might be 4, but you know, they're short films and they were like made when he was a student, so we give him a pass for that. But I'd love to speak to Christopher Nolan. I just would have so many questions that I wouldn't be able to like articulate. So I don't know. I don't know. Everyone who's talked to him has said he's like fantastic to talk to. He always comes across very well. But also part of me like doesn't want to meet him because he's sort of like a myth in my mind. You know what I mean? Because what they say, you should never meet your heroes. So.
Would you just ask him a load of Dark Knight questions or just try and keep it cool?
No, I'd probably ask him a lot of questions about every film he's ever made.
We talked about never meeting your heroes with Nick Helm, didn't we, Dave? And we basically came to the conclusion you should never meet your heroes because you'll probably be a dick rather than them. So it's not that they'll let you down, it's that you're just too worried about saying something stupid yourself.
Yeah, like a proper fanboy.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I remember I met Mark Kermode when I was like, just when I got into film and I got into film writing, I met Mark Kermode and I just like cried in front of him. And then my dad, bless him, had to like, I think because I was panicking, he was like, what does Mark Kermode like to talk about? Dexy Midnight Runners. So it was just Mark and my dad talking about Dexys and I'm just sort of like shaking. Just wanted to get my book signed. So that was like before like I only just started writing about film. Whereas I think I'd be like, I'd play it cool now, I'd hope. I don't know.
So it sounds like your dad's a big influence in your kind of film.
Yeah, I said like my mum and my sister just have terrible taste in movies. They don't watch if it's not a rom-com.
Yeah,
they're just not watching it. But my dad's like quite a film nerd, so
brilliant.
Yeah.
What other films has he made you watch?
Oh, like he showed me like Alien, Terminator, but even like stuff like Wim Wenders' work. Like he's got quite an eclectic taste. His favorite film ever is Trainspotting, which is one of my favorite films ever because he knows Irvin Welsh as well. So he went to my dad and my mum's first time away from me, like when I was a wee baby, was for the Trainspotting premiere, which I did. I was like 1, so I didn't get invited, obviously. I remember being shown because my dad, because of his work and stuff, he met like Irvin Welsh and they sort of became friendly, hence why he got invited to the Trainspotting premiere. So it's a film that means a lot to my dad. But I think he showed me that when I was very young because obviously the baby scene.
Yeah.
Like
that's
traumatic.
freaky. That's traumatic when you're 20, let alone when you're very young.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, he showed me a lot. And then when my parents got married, my dad had like a Trainspotting countdown on like social media. And like thinking back, I'm like, what? Like, stop. What? Like, how does that work? I think it was like the poster. He just did like a little countdown on each day, and I was like, that's not really appropriate, though, is it? Trainer spotting.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah,
Can't get my head around that one.
I was gonna say, talking of sequels, T2 is incredible, and people who say it's a bad film are wrong.
Who says it's a bad film?
Who says that?
People
No.
I know and I'm no longer friends with. So
Yeah, I would disown them if they told me T2 was
anyone who says Terminator 2 is a bad film, you can't be friends with them. Sorry, that's they're wrong. They're very wrong.
I mean, I meant
Absolutely
Trainspotting 2.
Oh,
Trainspotting
2. I thought you meant Terminator 2. Sorry.
Oh,
okay. Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can
So
sort
it's
of
also
see that
called
a little
T2,
more.
isn't it? It is called T2.
It
I
is,
was being
yeah.
like,
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah, we've had someone pick that as their worst sequel ever.
Yeah, we
on
have.
our podcast.
And
They should be kicked off.
I don't think it's the
Kicked off
worst
the
sequel
podcast.
ever, but I don't think it's the best sequel ever either.
I think it's incredible, but I don't know. It just for me just fits the story about what would actually happen to these characters like so many years on, and it's quite life affirming in a weird way. I really like it.
This episode is brought to you by Tinder. Cuffing season is in full effect, which makes Tinder the place to be right now. There's a new wave of folks coming back to the app ready to find love, fun, or just a new friend. And if you're worried about never meeting up with your matches IRL, don't be. 1.5 million Tinder users go on dates in person every week. Explore all of the possibilities for yourself. Tinder. It starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today.
What is the most disappointing sequel you've seen?
Oh.
As in, you went in like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And you come out, you're like, oh. So it's not the worst, it's the disappointing.
I'm trying to think. This one just comes to mind because I've been thinking a lot because I went to see The King's Man.
Right.
Prequel
Yeah.
sequel. So this has been I've been thinking a lot about how bad The Golden Circle is. Like over the past,
Great
like,
shout.
so it's probably isn't actually the most disappointing, but it's just what comes to mind when I'm thinking about most disappointing because the Kingsman Secret Service, incredible film. Like took everyone by surprise about how fun it was, the quirky, like the action, like I just remember really having a good time with Kingsman Secret Service. So I was like Golden Circle, Pedro Pascal, it's got all these like great like actors, like new like kind of upcoming actors. Like that was I think my introduction to Pedro Pascal, who I love. So because Mandalorian. And well he's just great in everything actually, Pedro. I just remember coming out and being like, that was terrible. That actually and Kick-Ass 2. Both like bad films.
Both good shouts.
Yeah.
Both bad movies.
Yeah.
It's like what we said about The Dark Knight, about how it like builds the foundations and expands, but it still feels like the same film. I feel that like Kick-Ass 2 and Kingsman 2 both wanted to also do that, but just like, I don't know, just it went down there like, it was like not tasteful at all. Like it just sort of lost any of the spark that the first films had. It just sort of threw it into the bin. So
yeah, and the Elton John bit's weird.
Yeah, the Elton John bit is weird.
All of it doesn't sit right with me actually. Kingsman Gold, because I was like, do I revisit the Kingsman movies before I go see the Kingsman? And I was like, I don't think I could be hurt again by Golden Circle. I can't take the pain anymore.
I guess when, like you say, the good thing about Kingsman was it was such a surprise at how fun
and
it
that's
was.
the same with Kick-Ass as well. I
Yeah,
think.
and Kick-Ass, such a surprise, but then you're not surprised by a sequel, are you? Because you've seen it before. So it's got a lot of work to do to live up to that first one because you've naturally not got that surprise factor. And I guess the way you do that is make it surprising again by doing something different or, not.
Yeah.
As in the case of Golden Circle or Kick-Ass 2.
Kick-Ass, yeah. I've only seen Kick-Ass 2 and Golden Circle once because I just can't, I can't bring myself to sit through them again. They were just so bad. But I think you're right. I think it's because both of those first films just sort of came out of nowhere. So they had a lot of, on their shoulders, but it was just not good at all.
Yeah. I remember watching the first Kingsman on an aeroplane scene to Dubai, and they cut out the really violent church scene. So I had no idea that was in the movie until someone was like, "What about the really violent church scene?" I was like, "What?" So at one point, it's got Harry, and then it just cuts to him outside the church with lots of dead people. And first time I saw it, I thought that's a bit weird. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And then I had to rewatch it. But the second one, the way they brought back what's his name, Colin Firth, that's his name. It's just
Yeah.
Leave him dead.
Yeah.
I should say that The King's Man, which is the third film, but a prequel, but I don't know, is actually good. Well, it's like it's not as good as King's Man, but it's nowhere near as bad as Golden Circle. It's like, so I feel like they're getting back to their standard, which is good. Or kind of hopefully the next one is like back up there. So that was because I went into The King's Man being like, Golden Circle wasn't good, Matthew Vaughn. So, but actually, it was.
It's weird that they're all Matthew Vaughn's produced, directed films. You're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think I trust him anymore. Although he made my favorite X-Men film. I think he did First Class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite X-Men film. So, which again is a very controversial opinion.
It's a good one. That is not the hottest take you've dropped so far, and we've still got a bit of time.
Yeah.
If you said I really like the Last Stand, then we would have been like, what is going on here?
No. Or Dark Phoenix or like Apocalypse, any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was really bad.
And you're talking of bad sequels, there's loads of examples.
Yeah. What I like, let's go on to bad sequel. What I like when I ask you about bad sequel, you're like, I don't really have a bad sequel because if I know they're bad, I just don't watch them.
Yeah.
So you've come up with, and I think is it the worst that you've seen recently?
Yeah, which is Space Jam 2. So I've been on a ride with Space Jam. Like I say, a ride on Space. It was a day because I went to see Space Jam a New Legacy because it looked. I mean, we're all in agreement, right? This is a dreadful film.
Oh yeah.
It's like a crime, like against cinema. It's a crime against like humanity. Like it's just the fact that this was unleashed on us. So I really wanted to see it because I was kind of like morbidly curious at like how ugly and horrible it would be. But I had never seen Space Jam, so I was like, right.
Obviously,
wanted to see Space Jam before I saw Space Jam New Legacy, and then just didn't have time. So I went to see Space Jam New Legacy. So I really had no like context of what to expect from this film. And I thought, obviously, like I said, it's pretty obvious why it's like disgusting and horrible, and it's just there to sort of sell things, and which I get that selling is part of film, but this film literally just all of it was just like corporate nightmare. And I really like LeBron James. He's in Trainwreck, which is like one of my favorite films. So I came home, and my boyfriend's a big Space Jam fan, or I say like I think he liked it as a kid. And I was like, does it have anything in common at all with the first film? And he was like, like, but I don't think he'd seen the first film in ages. So we were like, right, let's watch the first film. Because after seeing Space Jam New Legacy, that's, do it backwards. Why not? Watched the first film, hated the first film as well.
Oh God.
But like not at the same level. But I also think that's because I'm like watching Space Jam for the first time in 2021 as a 27-year-old.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any of I didn't know who Michael B. Jordan was because I'm absolutely clueless at like at sport and life.
So did you say Michael B. Jordan or just Michael Jordan?
Oh, is it Michael Jordan? Michael B. Jordan is the Black Panther actor. Yeah. See, Michael Jordan just doesn't exist in that side. So I don't think that helps. So but I must admit, like, even though I don't like either film, the first film, like, I can see why people like it. Like, it's like there's some cute moments. It seems to try to have some heart, but there's no heart in Space Jam. It's just cold metal. Space Jam New Legacy. So that's why I like picked it as the worst sequel, because it's not like, it doesn't have anything in common with the first film at all, except for like it's about Looney Tunes and basketball.
Dave and I watched this together at the cinema because we were reviewing it.
We did.
You needed support. You needed to support each other.
Well, we both really liked Space Jam. When we were young. Like, well, I did anyway. I don't know about you, Dave.
we're prime Space Jam age.
Absolutely, yeah. We should have been the exact audience that film was made for. Us and 6-year-olds, and. Yeah, when we came out, it took about, that there's always that moment when you go to the cinema with someone and you come out together and you're like, who's going to say it first? That was bad, right? Wasn't just me. That was bad.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right, about Space Jam New Legacy is obviously like people keep taking the piss out of the fact that the Droogs are in it from Clockwork Orange, and then there's like the Nun, like they basically shoved all these weird franchises. But aside from like all the product placement and all the advertising for Warner Brothers, like LeBron James isn't good in the film. Don Cheadle, all of it.
Don Cheadle.
None of it's good.
How do they make Don Cheadle a bad actor? How did they do that? Because he is not a bad actor.
He's actually one of my favorite underrated characters in the MCU. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I just so even aside from all the corporate nonsense, it's just like a bad film. But I think that's why I picked it as the worst sequel, because I said it just doesn't have any heart. At least the first film, even if I didn't enjoy it, I can recognize that it sort of meant well and it has got like a heart and humor. Obviously, Bill Murray's in it, but this one was just like dire.
It's not even funny. There's nothing funny in it. Like
I was in Wilco's yesterday looking for Christmas gifts because Wilco's actually surprisingly does great Christmas gifts, and they had a whole Space Jam New Legacy range of Christmas gifts. None of it. It was like the only shelf that was full still, because who's buying it? Yeah, it didn't do very well at all, did it? Like no. I think at the box office. Because even if you're like a kid, which kid's gonna get like Clockwork Orange references or like Matrix references? Do you know what I mean? Like it was a bit bizarre.
That's the problem. We said we don't know who it's aimed at.
No, because we
have no idea. We couldn't work it out if it was children or adults.
Yeah, my son's 6 and he's seen adverts and things for it, and he's like, oh, we could, I'd like to watch it. I want to see it. And I was like, you will be bored. You'll want me to turn it off. It'll be like Home Sweet Home Alone all over again. We'll get 20 minutes in and you'll be like, I don't like this, and that will be right. Yeah.
Another hot take. But I don't like any Home Alone films. I hate all of them.
See you later.
But right, so this is my problem, I think, in terms of my hot takes, is that because I didn't like watch films really as a kid, I'm watching most like movies in my mid-20s. So I only watched Home Alone, the first one, for the first time last year. Didn't like it, but it's nowhere near as bad as Home Sweet Home Alone.
That is awful.
I watched it and I was like, I watched it as like a screener because I was doing the interview. I interviewed the director, who was so lovely. I feel really bad for not liking his film, but I still don't like his film.
Yeah.
But he was a lovely guy.
I always wonder with you guys, how you watch a bad film and then you have to go and talk to the director. How do you spin it? Do you just not mention the movie? Try and talk about some other things?
I know you talk about the film because like with Home Sweet Home Alone, even if it's a bad film, there's still loads to talk about, because obviously even if the twist for me of like the burglars being good guys is like mind-boggling, and the kid being a little brat, like it's still interesting to talk about, but you just don't like say so. Like when I interview if I interview people whose films I like, I say I loved this bit about it. But if it's one I don't like, I just say, oh, congrats on the film. Let's get into it.
I mean, it's got a good cast.
You made a thing.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's like we always say, is nobody ever tries to make a bad film, though, do they? That's the thing. It's just like, sometimes it happens. I think the directors were...
Yeah, so some of the nicest people I've interviewed and made films that I just don't like. Yeah. And then I feel really bad. But also it's just like, even if I don't like it, it's not for me, it might be for someone else. So
someone else will like it.
Yeah.
And they put in like years of creativity into these movies. So yeah. And often it's not the filmmaker's fault, it's the studios.
That's why I think the problem with a Space Jam and New Legacy is the studio's fault, because why make a kid's film when there's a part of it that goes to the Matrix? Kids haven't watched the Matrix.
No.
And stuff like that.
Or Game of Thrones.
What the fuck? It's bizarre. We used to really start delving into it. And kids don't really know who Bugs Bunny is, I would say, anymore. Like I was asking Rich, does George know who Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes are? And he probably doesn't have a clue. So it would have been a better film to introduce them back into cinema than whack all
Bugs
this
Bunny's only in it for about 3 seconds, right? It just has like 3 lines and that's about it.
If you are introduced to Porky Pig while he's doing a rap from... I mean, it's bizarre. It is. So you hated it before and then you hated it afterwards. Did you review it anywhere?
No. I didn't know. I just... Yeah, I wanted to I couldn't process the pain. So...
Would you watch the third one? Because I'm guessing they won't make it now because it made no money. But
no, unless it was again out of morbid curiosity. What is interesting about Space Jam is all the sequels that they wanted to make. Skate Jam with Tony Hawk.
Oh,
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was one called Race Jam, which was about NASCAR, and I was like, how much have they been smoking? And what have they been smoking at Warner Brothers?
Crazy.
I would have liked
Bizarre.
Skate Jam. 16-year-old Dave going to college Dave would have really liked Skate Jam with Tony Hawk.
But not now.
Yeah, not for me. No, but yeah, they have some weird. They definitely are trying to like Space Jam: New Legacy is definitely meant to relaunch a franchise. It won't.
No.
Spoilers. But I think you're right. I think this is the issue. The issue is with studios is that like, because I think I was watching because obviously there's always talk about is Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man. So I've been rewatching like interviews of Andrew Garfield talking about Spider-Man, talking about how it wasn't a good experience in the end because he loves Spider-Man, he loves the character, he loves the comics.
Yeah.
And he's like, but whilst making Amazing Spider-Man 2, he was like, he realized that the studios don't love the character, they don't love the comics, they just sort of see it as a corporate opportunity. And he was saying that he understands that, you know, that's a business, but it's like it's just quite cold. And I think that's why he didn't have a good time making that movie. And I'm kind of getting that impression now that Tom Holland's probably feeling the same way about his Spider-Man.
Oh, no.
I know. Because it always comments, you know, recently about if he's I don't know about why he's concerned about the future of Spider-Man, because it does feel that like it's like, I don't know, studios just nowadays just like, again, like Hollywood's movie making is all about making money, but sometimes where's the love for the character? Like that's my concern about No Way Home. It's like, is it just if we include all these like characters from the previous franchise, it's gonna, you know, it's not just about they're not just doing it for like creative storytelling reasons. Obviously, it's about merchandise and
it's about toy sales, isn't it? Sometimes, and I think
yeah,
you're right. A lot of the messages coming from Tom Holland have been like, fans are going to be surprised. Fans aren't going to like this. You know, fans are going to be shocked at the direction, and that always seems a bit kind of.
I think he just seems a bit and when he talks about future Spider-Man, he seems a bit uncertain. So I'm a bit worried about like at least the Spider-Man, like even though we know it's to sell us toys and to sell us like, oh yeah, remember these amazing Spider-Man films, the Sam Raimi films, like, you know, come back and invest in those for the future. At least like it is still sort of absorbed into like a decent story, but Space Jam: New Legacy wasn't like trying to disguise itself at all. No,
it wasn't at all. It was just a Warner Brothers advert, basically.
yeah. And this, I don't know. I don't know if it's because as I get older, I grow more cynical. This is why I can't really get excited for The Matrix, because I'm like, are you just doing this to reignite love for a franchise that basically, like, the sequels of The Matrix aren't great?
No, they're far from great.
Yeah. So
one we can all get on board with now.
Yeah. And I'm there's no secret I love the MCU, and like, for instance, Ghostbusters Afterlife, that got shot on a lot, but I really liked that movie.
Yeah, me too.
And
we loved it.
And I can appreciate that like studios need to make money, and this is like by like bringing back like original franchises like helps, but I don't know, I'm growing increasingly cynical, I think.
It's funny because we do a podcast about sequels, but it does kind of ring true what people have been saying for a long time, is that Hollywood's run out of ideas. And we do see a lot of reboots and a lot of sequels, and you know, that's why we can do this podcast, because there are so many sequels now.
Yeah, so many.
It's so unusual to come across a really original movie that's come from nowhere these days. You know, they don't seem to get, the Hollywood studios don't take risks on new stuff anymore. You know, it has to be a proven entity.
I don't mind it. Like, I think also when we talk about best sequels, like, don't, like, obviously, like, again, like, it's a great movie, and like, I did feel that it wasn't just being made because they wanted to make money. I think that's the thing, when it feels like this just exists because you kind of like want to make money. And then even that is obviously what all films intend to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like I just get increasingly cynical, because it's like, like with The Matrix, like, why? I haven't seen it yet, but I think I'm already going in like, why do we have this when it very much was fitting to that era that the original came out in. So
mobile phones and how landlines and shit.
Yeah.
I get annoyed that they don't finish anything anymore. Hollywood, if something's a dud or doesn't make enough money, they just stop. Like you were talking about the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I watched that again the other day, and I'd love to see a third Garfield. I mean, I don't like Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I would like to see Amazing Spider-Man 3. But because I would like to see where they've gone with that, because he must have a darker version of that Spider-Man would have been great. And plus, she said Garfield is really good as Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, he's
so I would have been intrigued. And it really annoys me they never finish stories. So it's one of the bugbears of me that I don't have endings to certain films. Like, I'm going to bring it up again because I love it. Jumper. Have you seen Jumper, Emily?
No, I haven't seen Jumper.
You should watch Jumper, but then you think, where's the sequel?
I think what you were going to say. I thought you were going to say June then, Dave, because Dave went and watched June and then came out and was like, there's no sequel announced. There's got to be. Where is it?
Because it's only announced it's a part 1 at the beginning of it. I'm like, excuse me.
Tell you what I've been waiting ages for is the sequel to Crazy Rich Asians, because I swear that's been in development for like a while now. And I really like that movie. And I want to know where this story goes. And I love Henry Golden.
Is there a sequel that you were surprised how good it was after the first one being not good or bad, but you just enjoyed the second one more than the first one, maybe? But you were dragged to go and see it.
Trying to think. I was looking at even that's my DVD shelf, it's my bookshelf, but I only really read books that are based on films, or films that are based on books. I was dragged to see It Chapter 2, and I was told that it'd be good. Because I didn't like it wasn't good, which I know is opposite to your question, but that was one I got dragged to see. But it did disappoint me. I'm trying to think if there was a sequel that I got dragged to see that I actually ended up enjoying.
So for us, we'd say like Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. I think is what we were at a press screening for that. We had very low expectations, and that we came out going, yeah, it was all right. It was fun. It was a fun way to spend. Might have been because we'd been in lockdown for so long, and that was the first time we got to go to the cinema. But
like, even another example is like Fast 5 or some of the Fast and Furiouses, because after what is it, the second one? I can't remember. Too Fast, Too Furious. I was like, I am checking out this. This is
actually Fast and Furious is a good example, because I went to see my first Fast and Furious film I saw was Hobbs and Shaw, which is banging. That's a good film. Okay.
Strap yourself in, Rich.
Strap in, Dave. Yeah. I loved Hobbs and Shaw. And so is it 9? What are we on now with Fast and Furious films?
Yeah,
is it 9?
9's the last one, yeah.
9.
I was like, right, this summer I'm going to watch all the Fast and Furious films before.
Brilliant.
9, because I've only seen Hobbs and Shaw, which is like a spin-off, so I don't think really counts.
It's good though. It's a good spin-off.
I had a very traumatic time with Fast and Furious, watching them all.
It's a roller coaster ride, isn't it?
I think I watched them all in a week, so it was intense. And you're right, but like it doesn't, like the first one is dreadful. Like the first few are dreadful. Like his face is like no.
I think the first one is a film of its time.
Yeah.
Cars,
this is my issue, is watching a film from like the early
2000s.
Okay.
Like, the second one is dreadful.
Well, I try to think why it kicks in for me. There's one with
5,
which is the one with the tank. Love the tank.
6.
Yeah,
6 is where it really. Yeah, 5 was. I think 5 was good.
5's the one where the Rock turns up. Yeah, the Rock turns up in 5. That's where.
Yeah, I think 6 is where I kind of cracked Fast and Furious. I was like, right, I'm on board. Not super on board. My main problem with Fast and Furious is I don't like Vin Diesel, and
that's a big problem.
And Paul Walker. I don't like those characters, and I feel that like if you're not invested in. I can't remember the characters' names because I'm not exactly a Fast and Furious know at all. Even that's like the two. It's the biggest. I should really know their names. What are their character names? For life of me, I can't remember.
So Vin Diesel's Dom.
Dominic and Paul.
Yeah, I don't like Dominic and Paul. Paul just like he's a cop, right? And he's
Brian, not Paul.
Brian.
Paul Walker. I was going to say
Paul Walker's the actor. Brian just sort of like I don't know. He just gives up police one day. He's like, right, I'm just going to go join this random criminal, and it just doesn't make any sense. And I think because I'm not invested in that
It's because of family.
I'm not invested in the family or the friendship. And the further I'm not invested in that friendship because it makes zero sense to me because it just comes out of nowhere. Even like it's basically what a friendship is. I don't know. I don't really like that character dynamic. So I struggled with the Fast and Furious films, but I do like the later ones because I like the supporting cast.
Right.
Like, is it Tyrese Gibson? Is that the actor?
Yeah, Tyrese.
I like the comedy bits and I like the rock in it. But yeah, So I suppose that I sort of nearly gave up, but I kept going. I don't think any of them are very good, but I kind of get why people
not even
like
7
them.
when they drop out of an airplane.
No, I did like the airplane. My favorite Fast and Furious moment is where Gal Gadot kicks off Gina Carano off the plane.
Yeah,
that's a good bit.
That is a good moment. That's number 6.
Moment.
Yeah.
6 is definitely my favorite bit because the tanks and that. Although Hobbs and Shaw is actually still my favorite.
Okay.
Oh wow!
So I really like the Fast and Furious franchise because I was the right age when it started, I think is the main thing. But I also appreciate the fact they're not great movies, you know.
No. But I think they know that. I think
Yeah.
the only person who takes it seriously now is Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah,
completely.
And bless him. Like that, oh my god, that post he did on Instagram recently about calling The Rock, being like, "Come back to me, brother." Like, it's so self-serious. It's hilarious, and I'm sure he's lovely. He
is supposed to be lovely, but you know,
it always comes across well. He's great, and I mean, he doesn't really say much. He says, "I'm Groot," basically for all the Marvel films, but he does a good job.
Yeah, can't fuck that up. Like...
Yeah, I mean, he is supposed to be. He is supposed to be a really nice person, Vin Diesel, but he just doesn't come across that way on social media, I don't think.
No, it's too self-serious. And I said, like, my thing with like Fast and Furious 9, it's like, I'm sorry, but Dom should have been dead a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe him as like a sort of superhero figure. Like, it doesn't like.
I mean, Fast 9 takes it to like a whole new level. Like,
also like
ridiculousness.
2 hours 30. It's just like it's too much.
Yeah, it is.
I went to see it in IMAX though, and that helped the
God.
experience. That was yeah. So I think Fast and Furious amounts for that because I kept going and eventually found something I liked in it. So
Good answer.
That's a great answer.
I wasn't dragged to see it. I, in fact, dragged my boyfriend to sort of stick with me for these movies because I said they're meant to get good.
So he hadn't seen them before either?
I think he's seen a few.
Right.
Yeah. The only one he refused to watch was Tokyo Drift. I had to watch that one by myself.
Tokyo Drift is not as bad as people make out, I don't think.
I literally can't remember anything about it except for there's like a...
It's in Tokyo.
It's Han, isn't it?
Yeah.
Han's cool.
Yeah.
I like him.
Han is
him
cool.
and Gal Gadot, they were... I was invested in that relationship, not Dom and Paul.
What was your pick for Dream sequel?
Yes. Well, I had 2, didn't I? And then you were like, you got to pick one, Emily.
We'll probably we
can
talk
probably
about
touch
both.
on both. We can definitely talk about both.
So I'm going to go to my grave upset that we haven't had a sequel to David Fincher's Girl with Dragon Tattoo. We had a reboot, which was we don't talk about a reboot because that was.
I haven't seen it. I have no interest in seeing it.
It's not good. It's not good.
It was boring. And I think they call it the girl films. They shouldn't be boring. No. And it was boring.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's not part of the original. So they did the girl.
It's not Stieg Larsson.
Yeah, it's not a Stieg Larsson one. So Stieg Larsson did 3, but had plans for 10.
And he died.
Yeah, he did. He wrote 3, had plans for 10, but he died after doing the 3. And then they've got someone else to pick up his notes and write the next 3, essentially. Yeah. So the one they made, the girl in the spider's web, wasn't it? The Claire Foy one.
Claire Foy, bless her. Like I think she in another film would be a good fit for that character. Yeah. It's just the surrounding film was not good.
No.
Although, I must say I love the Swedish original films, incredible with Mimi Rapace. But I think David Fincher's take is just like it's also incredible. Like it's on a par. I just think it's such a shame that we didn't get to see him do more of that series.
It really needs a sequel, that movie, as well, because it really is.
The cast was like spot on. Like I think I prefer Rooney Mara as Lisbeth and Daniel Craig as Blomkvist. Even though I said the Swedish ones are also incredible. Like I think I felt more related to her performance. It's just why we not got one, David? Come on, stop making crap like Mank.
Well, you were blaming me for a second. I was like, it's not my choice.
Dave, you got to ring David Fincher, because I know you've got his number clearly. Then just tell him.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. We're always talking to Finch. You said earlier that you only watch films that you read the books of, so I'm guessing you read the books.
Yes, I think I watched the Swedish films, and then I read the books, and then I saw, although maybe I hadn't read the books at the time, I definitely had watched the Swedish films, because I think they'd all been done, hadn't they, before?
Yes.
My dad stuck me in to Girl with Dragon Tattoo.
God bless your dad.
Because I was 17, and obviously it's 18 rated film, and so I got stuck in to see the David Fincher version at the cinema. And when my mum was not allowed to so hopefully my mum doesn't listen to this, because she's not allowed to know that. So
Brilliant.
yeah, which and I think not really a film you should watch with your dad, by the way. Like,
No.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Also, another thing I love about Girl with Dragon Tattoo, the opening credits.
They are good.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Fincher's quite good at opening credits. The 7 opening credits as well are. I'm like, I don't know, I just really want more, because I just think the way he interpreted the book and the world he constructed, and I thought Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara were fantastic. I just want to see more of those characters, and especially since I know what story is like left to be told.
Yeah,
I've read the books, and obviously we've seen the Swedish films. I'm just furious. I mean, he's made sequels. He made Alien 3, which was obviously a terrible time. I actually enjoy that movie. Which is
there are worse Alien movies than Alien 3. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I like all Alien films, which is just embarrassing, to be fair. Even the Clay one, it's fun.
Not Alien versus Predator though, surely.
Oh, I haven't actually seen that.
Oh, don't.
To be fair, so
or an Alien versus Predator 2 is even worse.
Yeah, they're all bad. Alien 3 is the third best Alien film I've seen.
I have a big soft spot for Covenant. I remember being absolutely terrified at Covenant. So, but I think it was also my first red carpet, so I'm also biased.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, memories.
Yeah. So why did David Fincher never get his sequel for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
I think it went into development, didn't it? It went into development, and then it just sort of just never took off.
Did the first one not make it enough money?
I think it didn't make enough money. They said you can make it for a certain amount of money. Fincher was like, no, I need this amount of money. And obviously, Emily might know more, but I can't imagine Fincher's the easiest person to work with.
No.
So it's either my way or the highway. And the studio's like, okay, bye-bye then.
I think there was a lot of disagreement in terms of what direction it should go in. But I think what also makes it worse is that what we did end up getting, The Girl in the Spider's Web, was just trash. So it's just which makes it even more frustrating that we've not had a sequel yet.
And also, why start there? Why start in book 4? And
I know.
I don't know. It's odd. Is that supposed to be a sequel to the Swedish 3? I don't know, but because it's not.
I'm not sure. I mean, that's not had a sequel either. Shock.
Yeah.
They'll try again in a few years. They'll try and do another one. They'll try and remake this one, I reckon.
They don't
do Dragon Tattoo and go again.
I mean, yeah. I honestly, I love the Fincher one. It's just such a shame, especially because I love just 2 central performances. And obviously, Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig both have gone on to do other great films, but I just loved that dynamic. And
well, Daniel Craig's got time now.
He's got all the time.
He is a bit old now, though, isn't he? Do you think? I mean, it's already kind of like younger woman, older man, slightly creepy dynamic already.
Yeah.
But I think if you put Daniel Craig in it again, he's a lot older, isn't he?
A bit too old.
But he's really good.
He's really good. But I watched it the other day and I thought he looks surprisingly young in this movie. Because obviously before it was after his first Bond, was it after Casino Royale?
Yeah, it was in
it was just before Skyfall.
Oh, was it just before Skyfall? So it was after the what's it called? Is it Quantum of Solace?
Yeah,
the bad one.
Yeah, he put on weight to be in this film, which he must have really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Didn't Rooney Mara got nominated for an Oscar for this as well? Didn't she?
She should have done. She's great. She's really, really good.
She's so good in it. I love the Swedish ones, but I found this one to be a bit more, for me, more effective. And I think it's all down to that dynamic between Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig, because that's what that's what the film hinges on.
Yeah.
Like, and Stellan Skarsgård's terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's the best use of Enya ever.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
I wanted to bring a Enya.
It's like that scene, like, I can picture it now in my mind because it's just haunting. It's just horrible. It's a horrible scene, but so well like directed. And I get that, like even I said crap like Mank earlier. Like, Mank's fine, like it's good, not great. But I kind of wish that like Fincher's best at making thrillers, and like just I don't know. Even it was very nice that he made Mank, which is obviously his dad's film. But you know, I'm just like, come on, Fincher.
Yeah.
More Mindhunter, more. And a sequel to this, please, even though it's probably too late now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, because there's certain actors in here, like Joel Kinnaman's in here.
Yeah.
And apparently he was going to be a bigger part in the sequels. So he never got to say a line.
Yeah, the sequel also is like, obviously Elizabeth's story is like, you could get hints at her backstory in the first film, but obviously there's more in the sequels. And it would be really interesting because her performance is excellent.
Yeah.
To like really like see more of that. I'm just so annoyed that it's just never happened.
Yeah.
So upsetting.
I think the second and third are less. I can see why the studio were iffy about it.
They're more complicated. For sure.
Oh, man, like the size of the third one.
Yeah. It's practically Bible.
Dave's showing us the book. No one listening can see that, Dave. But yeah, the book is very large.
Oh, that's what a podcast is. I can say they're definitely less viewer friendly than the first one, and the first one is quite hard going.
Yeah, but I feel like if anyone,
especially the themes,
but if anyone could crack it, it's Fincher. Like in terms of like condensing the story. So
yeah, they'll all be about 3 hours long though, because what was good about the first film and the book is that it's quite a good representation of the book. There's nothing really trimmed out of it. It doesn't. It takes like an hour and a bit for the two main characters to meet.
Yeah,
which is weird.
It takes a while.
How good their chemistry is, because for the first hour of the film, they're not in a scene together.
No. It's only when he shows up at her flat, which is like over an hour in.
It's a great scene as well.
It's such a good scene. I love that scene. Just a good film. Just so upsetting. But this is also, I love watching it, but then every time I watch it, I get mad because there's no.
Yeah, because there's no sequel.
There's no
this
sequel.
is what I get mad about.
So
give me the rest of it.
So you would bring back David Fincher and all the cast and do exactly what was kind of planned for because obviously Fincher had a plan for the second film.
Yeah. It's just such a shame.
Does it not annoy you that they're all putting on like little accent, or not accents, but it's clearly filmed in Sweden? Yeah,
not really. Although, like, I know what you mean, because it's like with the House of Gucci thing. It's like, why bother putting on an Italian accent? Because we all know it's in Italy. Just didn't really bother me too much, to be honest, for Goldring Tattoo.
Because Daniel Craig refused to do a Swedish accent, didn't he? Quite famously said, "Nah, not
good
doing
choice."
It.
Obsessed. I'm slightly obsessed with the way Daniel Craig spelt this. Like, wears his glasses. In that, do you know what I mean? In that film, he just sort of hangs them up like in strange places in his head when he's like not wearing them. It's just a nice little character moment that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig, a great actor, and I love him as Bond. But I think like stuff like Layer Cake, Goldring Tattoo, Knives Out, it's when like those. Yeah, I think he's actually better in those than he is. I think obviously Bond's amazing, but
it's going to be nice to see him when he's got more time to do other things. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great when he's not Bond. I like Bond like you do, but it's exciting now. That's over, and you can really crack on with hopefully some really good stuff. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Knives
Out 2. Please be good. Knives Out 2.
I trust Rian Johnson. He made my favorite Star Wars film, so I have faith. Yes, we are.
That's one I like and one Rich doesn't like.
I honestly can't understand why people don't like it, but yeah.
I think with my relationship with Last Jedi, it's a little bit like you with your red carpet thing. I got to go to the first screening of Last Jedi, and they had a Q&A afterwards with everyone. So when you got Mark Hamill and Del Toro literally sitting in front of you, like, I love this film. This is great.
I have problems with Last Jedi, but it's not as bad as
some people make out.
Yeah, it's also not as bad as Rise of Skywalker. So it's
bad film. Bad film. Yeah, I went to the press screening of Last Jedi and the press screening of Rise of Skywalker. And Last Jedi, everyone came out so excited. Rise of Skywalker, everyone came out like,
Oh,
sigh.
So Last Jedi, I came out going, and then like, Rise of Skywalker, I came out going, like, oh my god, like so bad, just fuming.
My thing with Rise of Skywalker is I remember coming out of the film and being like, I had to write a review. And it was also one of those things where the film finished at 10 p.m. Review embargo was like 2 hours later.
yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like, I was talking to my friends about it. And I think because we all really wanted to like it, we all talked about like, oh, like this bit was good, this bit was good, this bit was good. And so I think I gave it 3 stars. Or was it 4? No, I gave it 4 stars. A low 4, but still 4 stars. But since that day, I'm like, it's terrible. All of it's terrible. Like I just
Oh God.
I have it on DVD. I've never watched it since like that first. I think I actually saw it again in cinemas, but I haven't seen it since.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, I think I was just trying to talk myself into thinking it was good.
I would like to say that the reasons I don't like Last Jedi are not the horrible fanboy reasons that come up on the internet a lot. I just don't think it made sense to me. It just didn't feel like a good Star Wars movie to me. It has absolutely nothing to do with female characters in any sense. You know, I think that's great. And yeah, it's nothing to do with any of that fanboy bullshit that, you know, everyone else who doesn't like it seems to be the. Yeah.
I like how you have to get that in every time.
I do, because I don't want people tarring me with that horrible brush.
Well, this is a problem with fandoms today, is that like with the people generally don't like Last Jedi like you, Rich, and but you just get brushed for the same because that toxic fandom are so vocal.
Yeah,
it's the same with it's the same I think with Zack Snyder films, is that his fandom are just insane, and a lot of them are just like very nasty people online, but not all like Snyder fans are like that. But I always like, there's a degree of trepidation because I'm not a Snyder fan. He's just not a filmmaker for me. His style just doesn't work for me personally. And do you know what? That's fine.
Yeah. I don't think he works for me either, or you, Dave.
I'm like scared to like tweet about any like Snyder opinions because you just get attacked. And that's like a really bad, like that's sad because there's people out there who love Snyder who just like are normal people.
Yeah.
But there's one small minority. It's the same with all fandoms. It's just one small minority. And if you like, I mean, yeah, like I love the Joker. I think that Joker film, Joaquin Phoenix, is a 5-star film. But people who are fans of it, like people who aren't fans of the film, criticize people who are fans of it because there are some fans who are toxic about that movie. So I'm scared to say that I'm a fan of Joker because I want to be brushed like with that, even though I'm not. I'd hope to say that I'm not a psychopath. So
I think we need to talk about Emily's other choice for Dream sequel as well.
Yeah, well, actually, Joker work that sort of fits quite nicely into it because I'm very upset that Birds of Prey hasn't had a sequel yet, and I do cry about it at night. So
yeah,
and I think that is a lot to do with toxic fan base actually, because it had I literally think it had a backlash because it was a fun female-led film and it was quirky, and I think Birds of Prey is magnificent and it's one of my favorite DC films, especially from the newer DC films, because it just had fun. It felt like it had personality.
It felt to me like DC had finally cracked it. I was like, yes, this is how you make a superhero movie. You know, it was great. It was a brilliant, brilliant film. And
that tone works so well with Harley, especially Margot as Harley. And I just feel that DC fans sort of wanted something a bit more serious and they didn't get that. So they were upset. Like, even aside from the fact it's obviously female, it's all women.
Yeah.
We have got...
How dare they?
I know. We have got a Black Canary film coming, which I'm like, cool, because I think the name's Journey Smollett Bell, isn't it? She's like great as Black Canary, and I like that character. I'm be interested to see more about character, but I'm like, where's Bop too? Come on, guys.
Bop.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that. I'm really cool about it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think Birds of Prey is up there with my favourite DC movies. Like it made me think, because I was at a point where I wasn't going to watch any more DC movies. I'd seen Wonder Woman 84, I think, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
Oh, I really like Wonder Woman 84. Oh. I don't know, I just which I can see why people don't like it because it is a mess, but there's so much off it that I did enjoy.
Yeah.
I really like Wonder Woman, so maybe that's why.
But I also don't. I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder, and I watched the Snyder cut, and I'm like, I think it's the music. The music is so on the nose. Like it's like a superhero turns up, da-da! Like the music is like, bum, bum,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like Dave was saying about Army of the Dead as well, like playing Zombie at the end of Army of the Dead. I'm like, you have not listened to the lyrics of this song. Like, just because it says it's called Zombie doesn't mean it's the right song to play.
I must say that even though I don't like Zack Snyder's films, I always think he comes across rather well. Like, he seems really genuine.
He
really,
seems like
really
a nice
lovely.
person, yeah.
I think it's such a shame that his fans are just like, not all of his fans, obviously, as I said earlier, like a small portion of his fans are just so toxic. And I think one of us are just, because the Birds of Prey, I don't think it was a massive box office flop. Like, it's got a dedicated fan base as well. It's just, I think they're just scared. Like,
yeah.
But it's such a shame because it was something really different. It was obviously all female, like, I think it was DC's first, like, female cast, like, movie. And it was so much fun. It was different. It was, like, more mature. And I saw a really interesting thread about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad and how you wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Birds of Prey. Because obviously Birds of Prey is like 15 rated, adult humor, ridiculous humor. And that's exactly the same. Like, Birds of Prey and The Suicide Squad, perfect double bill, because you wouldn't have that film if you didn't have Birds of Prey. And I just feel like, I don't know, just people just don't like fun.
And that's it. And who
like
wants to hang around with people that don't like fun?
Didn't they mess around with the name as well? One
Yeah.
point it's called Birds of Prey, and then they put the Harley Quinn in front of it.
Yeah, so it's called, so the official title is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of a One Harley Quinn. And then cinemas were like, no one's going to go see this movie, but either it is just, there's obviously that long title as a joke, but it is just Birds of Prey. So they changed it to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, I think. I don't really get why people didn't go see it. I don't know. Like, it's just so weird to me because it was like, I can understand when people don't love it, but I think the worst it is like throwaway fun.
Yeah.
So like, it's not like harmful at all or like,
no. It's a good film.
I don't really get people's issues with it, to be fair.
Nope.
And some, like, most of the time I do. I'm like, I can understand why this isn't your cup of tea. Like Last Jedi, I totally get why like you take issue with like that it doesn't work. But with Birds of Prey, I'm just like, it's just like a group of random like a group of misfit girls having fun. Like, what's the problem? It was just bizarre.
Yeah.
That backlash. But maybe one day I'll get a sequel. I hope so.
I think you're more likely to get a sequel to that than the Dragon Tattoo.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
And like, I did really like James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which did feel like it followed on from Birds of Prey. And obviously, like, a lot of that characterization of Margot Robbie's Harley in there follows on from Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
But
big time.
I think I went to see it with my boyfriend Tom, who's a film critic, and our friend Cameron. And then I was like, that was amazing. And Cameron and Tom were like,
oh no,
it was good. I was like, it's incredible. You've got no taste. But they liked it. They just didn't love it. And then can't trust people. But I made my boyfriend watch Birds of Prey a lot. We watched it on New Year's Eve last year to ring in the new year because like it's just really like it is just fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah,
come on, fans, have some more fun. And I think the new DC is best when it is having fun, like the Suicide Squad, like Shazam. I'm quite excited for Shazam too. Bit worried it's going to be a bit more serious, but I think I saw pictures of the villains like Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, and I was like, oh no, it does look a bit ridiculous still.
Oh, good.
I'm not looking forward to Black Adam. I think Black Adam is going to be a bit self-serious for my liking. But
The Rock is in a weird place at the moment for me. There's a lot of, I don't have to explain it, advertising. He thinks a lot of himself.
I don't like The Rock. That's another hot take. But I don't like him. God. Do you know why I don't like him? Because he doesn't feel like a real person. It all feels like
I understand that.
All feels like a show. Whenever I see him, I'm like, you're not real. You're acting right now. And I don't think any part of him, like, I don't think it ever shows his like vulnerable or real side. And you don't have to show your vulnerable side at all, but it just feels like I'm constantly watching like a children's TV presenter. Because
it feels like a machine, like a well-cogged advertising machine of he's always on show.
He's a robot.
Like,
That's what it
ta-da.
literally feels like. He's a robot who's like constantly doing pantomime. Like, yeah, always on the show. And I'm worried about Black Adam, about that's DC going a bit more serious again. I'm like, no, just
Yeah.
we prefer it when you got Margot Robbie with a gun labeled fun gun.
Yeah.
Shooting like rainbows at people. Like,
I like
well, that's what I prefer.
I like that too. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
More Birds of Prey.
Yeah. More Birds of Prey, less maybe Black Adam will be good. We haven't seen it yet. So
Fingers crossed.
I just don't like The Rock's not a human. He's not real. I don't trust him. He's going for president as well, isn't he? At some point, I heard. I'm like,
I think
why?
that comes from the Young Rock TV show. There's the Young Rock TV show where he's in like playing himself, running as president, and then talking about all the things he got up to
why?
when he was younger.
I haven't watched that yet.
It's all right. Mate, not really because of The
Do you know
Rock, because of everyone else that's in it, really.
I like him in some films, like Jumanji, like when he's sort of mocking himself. But like as a person, like no, he's not for me. Maybe one day he will like do like, me and my friends have had this conversation. It's like, will The Rock one day do like an Oscar-worthy performance, like take on like a drama, like a character like close to him, and like really show his emotional side? And I was like, if he does that, I'll probably be won over, because I need some. It doesn't feel human. Sorry, Rock.
Those were Emily Murray's Unequal sequels. Lovely choices, Dave. Lovely choices.
Man, I think her story about her primary school play is my favourite story that's ever come out of any of our discussions. I still can't get my head round that a teacher thought it'd be a good idea to do a primary school production of Lord of the Rings.
It's different.
I think about it nightly and daily. I just want to know what that would have looked like. Oh, it must have been nuts.
It must have been crazy. Yeah.
You must pat him on the back. He saw the bigger picture. He wanted to go big. Whoever that teacher was, bless them. But her picks, yeah, absolutely brilliant ones. Got to speak about The Dark Knight again, from another perspective.
And Emily's a big Nolan fan, so yeah, that's
possibly the biggest Nolan fan we've met.
Yeah, possibly, even bigger than Ian Nathan, who's actually met him.
Space Jam 2 is currently a terrible sequel.
Absolute garbage. Yeah,
must have made a real impact for her to really pick that, because there's a lot of bad sequels.
There are, but yeah, Space Jam 2: A New Legacy can get in the bin. Yeah,
take that. And the Dream sequels, we've got to talk about too, Rich.
Yeah, we did. But I really liked the idea, her ideas for David Fincher's Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. But I'm really keen for a Birds of Prey sequel. I really enjoyed Birds of Prey. I think it's brilliant.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I know.
It's sad, isn't it?
It is sad. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm up for a David Fincher Dragon Tattoo sequel.
The Girl in the Fire, or The Girl in the Hornet's Nest, or whatever the other ones they decide to do.
Whatever it's called. Another one of them.
With his style.
Daniel Craig back,
very his style.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for Emily coming along. Check out her work.
It was lovely to meet Emily.
She's great.
We really enjoyed it, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, Emily was lovely, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was really lovely. It was great to meet her. I think she had brilliant choices, and she was really passionate about it.
She's doing a fantastic job on the lowdown with Zavvi. That's giving lots of writers incredible work, and yeah, she's doing great. Always interested to see what she thinks of movies as well. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Rich, you got anything else to say about us?
Of course, always. Make sure you like and subscribe, everybody. If this is the first episode you've listened to, why? We've been around for ages now. Go back and listen to all our other episodes. They're brilliant. Subscribe while you're at it, so that you don't have to worry about finding our episodes. They'll come straight to you. And if you're listening on Apple or on Spotify, give us a cheeky little 5 stars and a review. We'll love you forever. Promise. Yeah. You can also check us out on social media. So we're at Unequal Sequel on Twitter and Instagram. And you can even send us a little email at unequalsequel@hotmail.com.
Perfect. Yeah. Please get in touch if you want to say something nice about us. If you don't. get in touch.
No, don't get in touch. Say nasty things. That wouldn't be nice.
Really hurt my feelings. Yeah, thank you for listening, all the listens and all the plays and all the downloads. It's going very well at the moment. We're loving being part of the podcast community. We've had some very nice things said about us recently. Check us out. As recording this, we were the British Podcast of the Week on Film Stories. We won't be next week, but check out that article on there. It's very nice. And thank you. That's all I've got to say. Rich, you got anything else to say?
No, I think that's it from me.
So that's a thank you and bye-bye from me. So bye-bye. And a bye-bye from him.
Bye!
Have a good week. See you next time. Bye.